to father a child at 100-year-old, and granted also the share of the faith. So sometimes a change of name, and you know, to me, my name might not have changed, but my whole attitude, my spirit, everything that I've done has changed. There's been a change. Amen. To Sister Tammy, she sang that, change, change, I know I've been changed. The angels in heaven done sign my name. Woo! So you know, there's one of the greatest things about a Christian is change. And we never stop changing. We never stop growing, never stop changing. As long as we're pressing forward, God's going to do a work in our life. And Abraham, even at 100-year-old, over 100-year-old, God was still working on Abraham. And folks, He's going to work on you. And we'll be a finished product, you know, whenever we get to heaven. I mean, and folks, we've got to lay aside things that hinder us. We've got to lay aside sin and weights. And it might not even be a sin, but it might be a weight. It might be a hindrance. And we've got to lay it aside so we can march on for Jesus. He said, I have peace of God. I have received a peace that passes all understanding. The ability to rest in the storms of life. And a little song, when the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When I've done the best I can, and friends don't understand. The storms of life are raging, stand by me. The McNew girls would sing that. When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. Folks, God is so good. I feel a great presence of God today. Things inherited is joy, fullness of joy. Number 3, the joy that I have, the world didn't give to me. Boy, they wrote a lot of songs, ain't they? Some good songs. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. And Brother Mike would say, J-O-Y, joy. What He's done for me. J-O-Y, joy. What He's done for me. It's joy unspeakable and full of glory. He said, ask that your joy may be full. The little thought of happiness comes from within, but happiness comes without. That stuff brings happiness, but joy comes from within. You know, to me, and preach a sermon on I'm going to smile, and there's a smile that goes with this. And there are troubles and trials, but folks, just think even in the midst of the storm that Jesus is right there, and He'll never leave you, He'll never forsake you. The joy of the Lord is our strength. If we delight ourselves in Him, He will give us the desires of our heart. You know, we see some to shout, and there's a lot of different ways of shouting, you know, and we call it shouting. They really probably don't even holler. Some of them hollers, but they'll shake and they'll jerk and they'll twist and they'll dance and roll on the floor. There's different ways. But what it is, they're delighting themselves in the Lord, their God. I mean, God has done something so great and so mighty. And to me, you know, there's times, and you say, well, you don't have to run the seat. And I have run the seats, but I didn't have to, but I wanted to. Didn't have to roll on the floor, but I wanted to. Didn't have to jump up and down. And even now, you know, can't hardly stand still. And I can, but it's hard. It's real hard. But, you know, but folks, God is so good that He loves us anyhow. You know, and even in our imperfections, you know, there's people that everything has to be so perfect and just so detailed, but I'm not one of them. And, you know, even if I mess up, I'm going to stagger at it. You know, Brother Gibson always says, shoot it at the moon if you hit a rock pile. Happiness comes from without, but joy comes within. The joy of the Lord is our strength. If we delight ourselves in Him, then He will give us the desires of our heart. Maybe we're asking for things and we're not delighting ourselves. We're not enjoying the presence of God. Maybe our attitude is not right where it needs to be. And maybe we ought to just sometimes just act like He's answered it. And, you know, I've told the Lord, I said, Lord, if you help me get this paid off, this car paid off, I'm going to leap for joy. And here I went and made the last payment, and I done a little bitty, you know, it wasn't nothing like it ought to be. So, you know, sometimes we'll tell God things and then we don't follow up. But I mean, to be one less payment would be pretty great, wouldn't it? Especially if you made them for 3 or 4 years or for 5.5 years on a truck. I mean, boy, to get that paid off, and woo! We should have sounded like a choo-choo train, you know, done an Indian war dance or something, you know. But joy when I think about what He's done for me. Hallelujah. That little song, I get clapping in my hands when I think about what He's done for me. I get clapping in my hands when I think about what He's done for me. Boy, I tell you, I've got fullness of joy today. And we shouted and hooted and hollered last night. And the power of God's still here today. Little word change. Change. I know I've been changed because the angels in heaven done wrote my name. Little song, I'm laughing at you, devil. We had our church, and you know, a little song said, if you want joy, you got to reach for it. And we had our church leaping. And you know what, the first 2 or 3 weeks of this year, and I got everybody to leap. And it's leaping into the new year, leaping into 2014. And I looked around, and they was leaping, you know, and it'd been better if we'd had room to leap. We ain't got much room between the pews. But, you know, the mindset, and sometimes, you know, when we're reaching, folks, God places special promises within reach.